Hello viewers, welcome back to the channel. I hope you've had a great week and managed to get those work hours in order to justify the rest of the weekend. Talking about weekends, the last of this month features the open beta for Diablo 4, Blizzard's latest installment in the Diablo franchise and their latest planned release as a developer. So let's sink our teeth right into Diablo's head and dissect his brain as we preview their upcoming anticipated release. Blizzard is known for their exceptional and consistent art direction. Games like World of Warcraft, Overwatch, and StarCraft are all great examples in different genres that contain the work ethic of what is known as game design magic, where despite the myriad of issues, they still manage to release a good or great video game. The same sentiment goes for the story. Blizzard inhabits that weird but amazing space of developers that manage to release consistently well-written games. Naughty Dog, Santa Monica, Bethesda Game Studios, and among others that manage to release good stories with the occasional great one, like The Last of Us and The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. I'm happy to announce the same can be said for Diablo 4. Diablo 4 decides to revisit the dark and grim aesthetic that was so prominent in the earlier installments of the franchise, taking the hopelessness of the world and making it primary to the cause for the issues our characters are facing. This serves for a breath of fresh air, as many longtime Diablo fans did not enjoy the third installment's tone and art direction. This one goes full on the other way and embraces its bleak vision of the world. The game begins establishing its premise and the opening cinematic, as we see a group of treasure hunters serve as sacrifice for the new antagonist of the franchise, Lilith. She represents the seductive nature of evil toward the hearts of men and women alike, exploiting their desires for value in a world without love. She begins taking over the hearts of the people living in Sanctuary, encouraging them to sin and to lay themselves as the foundation for her revenge. Here, our characters come into play as he has escaped the dangerous woods at night, kindly accepted by an unassuming village that needs help to get rid of a demonic creature. They end up being worshippers of Lilith and knock you out with a potent drink after you return. This leads to the inciting incident of the story, where they plan to sacrifice you to her and deposit one of her petals in your mouth. You swallow it, but you get saved by a priest that manages to get inside the slaughterhouse before you get slaughtered. You get saved, but now need to live with the essence of Lilith inside you, as the petal that they gave you and you swallowed where you were unconscious is part of some essence that she drops everywhere she goes. You are forced into seeking her in order to destroy her, as you can't deny the fact the mother of hatred is living inside of you. So our character embarks on the journey to save himself and Sanctuary in the process. Diablo 4 follows the traditional hero's journey format and forces you into a world of forces you are not physically or spiritually prepared to fight, taking obvious steps in the story, such as meeting your helpers for the journey, as they provide essential information but are unable to fight like you do. Here we meet Loroth, a dishonored knight from the Penitent Order, and Narelle, a young charismatic lady that works alongside you to discover the process and ancestral knowledge to defeat an evil like Lilith. Elements of this hopeless world are beginning to take initiative and looking for solutions and redemption. This gives me a lot of hope in the story, as the first act of the story, largely relegated to exposition in order to understand the greater threat and the stakes that are present, has successfully created a dynamic and thought-provoking anticipation for the resolve and hopeful redemption of the world and ourselves. I also loved how many of the elements regarding hatred and redemption are closely associated with the biblical truths. This seems like a story made with the referential foundation of scripture. It's a joy to watch as a Christian. Diablo 4 takes up familiar ground with the tried and tested ARPG formula. The same fluidity and spectacle that carried the first games of the franchise returns, as expected. The excellent execution of abilities mixed with consistent and punchy effects that allow your character to gradually expand from a lonely vagabond warrior into a fearsome aide to the Order of the Penitent's Knight. To say that progression is on point from such an early stage is just a courtesy, as the game provides outstanding opportunity to enjoy the amazing abilities with a plethora of enemies and levels. I only managed to play as a rogue in the early access beta and the latest open beta available for everyone that could download it. I think something about these games is that they start slow, since much of what you would use is tied under a progression system. These games are more akin to action games, where there's a plethora of button prompts that will get you a moveset for a specific action. There's a need for it to be an initial slog when you only have a few or single ability to battle enemies. The satisfaction is absolute when you arrive there, but make no mistake that your journey to that ideal and fun build is cumbersome. This is because the UI for the progression is difficult to read and henceforth not easy to navigate. The abilities for the rogue are initially all over the place, not being quite clear if they're relegated to knives or archery outside the obvious arrow or knife symbol. This gets better as you understand what abilities are such, but the initial struggle to pinpoint and read the abilities is going to cause more headaches than it should. This is because getting information for the various abilities that you could potentially use are getting separated in the abilities menu. menu. This gets you to drag up and down consistently in the menu, hence making it uncomfortable. So you're definitely going to enjoy your time with Diablo 4, but it will probably be a slow and rocky path till you get there. Now, everything comes to shine in the open world of Diablo 4. The levels embody everything this story is trying to convey. Bleakness and hopelessness is felt through the towns and roads that lead to them. Enemies are occupying all the corners without the presence of the Knights Penitent, and peasants are slaughtered by the dozens as they walk toward their houses or exit the safety of the walls for their jobs. The art direction, as told initially, is a prime quality, as the color palette and set design speak to the desperation of the inhabitants, and the darkness you will see outside the walls as they can't keep away that which they're designed for. This gives the overall game in combat an infusion with story rarely seen, as most games usually have segregated content, meaning the story, gameplay, and level design don't always embody the same elements. This is something they managed to achieve with every part of the level design and progression. Dungeons are fantastically designed and structured. They leave with enough room to explore outside the objectives of the level, but always stay easy to read as they do not become labyrinthian, at least in the early areas of the game. It's safe to say Diablo 4 is a lot of great in a short amount of time. Being so early in the playthrough with so many engaging mechanics and story beats. Characterization and development are fantastic, but some aspects of the UI, as it pertains with progression, leave a lot to desire. I'm glad the combat doesn't have this issue, and although it starts slow, it manages to build up momentum and establish the formula that describes the Diablo franchise so much. It's clearly something that has my hopes up, and I can't wait to play more. Guys, I'm so glad you came back. God bless you. I hope to see you in the next video. Hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. Push the notification bell if you want to see more of it. And until next time, God bless you.